Welcome to the 1991 Review Channel, where we specialize in analyzing and reviewing the story of Yuan Yao, the celestial maiden who captivated countless fellow Taoists. What was her final fate? Let's find out together. According to the novel's plot, this would also be the last time Yuan Yao meets Han Li in the mortal realm. Regarding this character, whether in the animation or the novel, I truly like her a lot, especially the deep sisterly bond she shares with her senior sister Niam Lu. Honestly, I'm a huge fan. Yuan Yao came from a small sect on Chaotic Star Island. From a young age, she and her senior sister Niam Lu relied on each other, so their relationship was incredibly deep. Later, the two sisters left their sect one after another, planning to find some high-level cultivators to see if they could raise their cultivation base through dual cultivation. After meeting Han Li on Chaotic Star Island, the two sisters separated. During their time apart, Niam Lu was deceived by the young master of the Green Yang sect and became his cultivation cauldron. By the time Yuan Yao met Niam Lu again, she learned the truth. Therefore, the two sisters set a trap to ambush this lecherous young master of the Green Yang sect. But unexpectedly, Niam Lu's physical body was destroyed in the end, leaving only her spiritual soul behind. Afterward, relying on the pills from the Green Yang sect's young master, Yuan Yao successfully advanced to the core formation stage, but still couldn't save Niam Lu. Because of this, she entered the Palace of the Void Heaven to search for the soul-nourishing wood. There, she met Han Li again and, with his help, obtained the soul-nourishing wood and the 10,000-year spirit liquid. When Han Li returned from the outer seas, he happened to find the Green Yang sect acting unjustly towards Yuan Yao. To obtain the remaining 10,000-year spirit liquid in her hands, Han Li decisively acted and eliminated those demonic cultivators. Subsequently, Yuan Yao prepared to perform a soul-restoring technique to resurrect Niam Lu. After learning about the deep bond between the two sisters, Han Li generously stood guard for them. Unfortunately, at the critical moment of the ritual, the ghostly fog suddenly attacked. Yuan Yao and Niam Lu were swept into the land of the netherworld by the ghostly fog. Here, by a stroke of luck, Yuan Yao obtained a set of the Yin-Yang Samsara art. To save Niam Lu, she voluntarily destroyed her physical body to become a ghost cultivator, cultivating alongside Niam Lu. By the time the two had refined the Samsara art into a divine artifact, they were swept into the earthly abyss by an abyssal wind from the ghost matriarch of the spirit realm. Here, Yuan Yao was forcibly taken as a disciple by the ghost matriarch, who planned to have her become a target for consumption to enhance her own cultivation. Just as she was in despair, Han Li appeared. At this time, Han Li was participating in the earthly abyss trial as a substitute for the Rock Clan's holy son, and had been captured by another demon king of the abyss, Mactan. Upon seeing Han Li, Yuan Yao felt as if she had grasped a life-saving straw. She begged Han Li to rescue them. As fellow natives from the mortal realm, Han Li naturally did not refuse. Finally, after a heart-pounding escape, the three of them escaped from the clutches of the four great demon kings. After that, Yuan Yao and Niam Lu met the great power of the human race, Tan Nguyen Tu, and successfully became his disciples. Under his guidance, Yuan Yao not only restored her physical body, but also successfully advanced to the body integration realm. As the story reached the end of the spirit realm arc, Yuan Yao and Niam Lu were brought back to the human race by Han Li and arranged to stay in his immortal's cave. During the 8,000 years that Han Li was in seclusion for his ascension, Yuan Yao's cultivation had reached the quasi-Mahayana realm. Not long after Han Li ascended to the immortal realm, through the words of Nangongwan, it was revealed that Yuan Yao had smoothly advanced to the Mahayana stage, inheriting the entire legacy of Tan Nguyen Tu. Furthermore, due to some fortuitous encounters, her advancement speed was even faster than Nangongwan's and the others, allowing her to enter the Tribulation Transcendent stage early. However, in the process of overcoming the immortal ascension tribulation, Yuan Yao fell. In reality, at the final moment of her ascension tribulation, Yuan Yao was secretly aided by Han Li, who had traveled through time and space back to the spirit realm using the Palm Sky bottle. However, Han Li's intervention also increased the power of the immortal tribulation, creating a shockwave that caused all witnesses at the time to fall unconscious, unable to truly see the final moment of Yuan Yao overcoming her tribulation. And with the help of the Palm Sky bottle, she successfully passed the ascension tribulation and arrived in the immortal realm. In the novel, Yuan Yao's ending is one full of hope and warmth. Her cultivation journey, much like Ziling's, was fraught with difficulties and challenges, but she always remained steadfast and brave. The reason a mortal's journey to immortality is loved by countless readers is primarily because the author successfully portrays Han Li as a common person with a single-minded pursuit of the Tao and an unyielding will. Han Li is an inspiration. He possesses a spirit that motivates people, which is also why readers love Han Li and love A Mortal's Journey. Of course, besides Han Li, the book portrays many characters with different personalities, each with their own unique traits. For example, The Nguyen Zhao we are discussing today. It's no exaggeration to say that among all of Han Li's female confidants, besides Ziling and Nangong Wan, Nguyen Zhao absolutely has one of the largest fan bases. It is rumored that in the original work, the reason Han Li used the Palm Sky bottle to save Nguyen Zhao was because the author, Wang Yu, genuinely couldn't handle the pressure from her fans. So he added this plot point at the end. Whether this rumor is true or not, I personally feel that Nguyen Zhao absolutely deserves this treatment. In the novel, she is the most loyal and energetic cultivator. The cultivation world under Wang Yu's pen reflects the secular affairs of the mortal world. The so-called Great Tao is emotionless. It is very similar to the cultivation concept of heaven and earth are ruthless and treat the myriad creatures as straw dogs. For a cultivator like Nguyen Zhao with no background, surviving in the cruel cultivation world is not so easy. This point is exactly like us, the small figures in reality. We leave our hometowns and relatives behind, desperately pursuing our dreams. But the vast majority of people, even if they give their all, find it hard to achieve their ideal outcome in the end. Survival is not easy. Development is difficult. And to succeed, desperation is just one of the prerequisites. The emotionless Great Tao of reality will not show you mercy just because you are weak and small. But beneath the emotionless Great Tao, the survival of humanity is filled with sentiment, just like Nguyen Zhao meeting Han Li. It was because she met Han Li that her destiny was changed. If she hadn't met Han Li, she might have perished in the palace of the void heaven. Therefore, the Tao of humanity under the Great Tao is more important to us. And the core of the Tao of humanity is human sentiment. Everyone has the 7 emotions and 6 desires, and everyone has the ability to judge good and evil actions. The reason Han Li is called Old Devil Han is precisely because he can control his emotions and suppress his feelings. Just imagine the plot in the book. If it were you, brothers, could you hold back? I believe that anyone in the real world who encountered the situation of seeing Nguyen Zhao bathing would definitely not be able to resist. Therefore, in the novel, the impression Han Li gives us is that of a cultivator single-mindedly focused on the Tao, indifferent to women. Moreover, he is very decisive. If others have even the slightest ill intent, they will basically be defeated by his hands. Compared to Han Li, some of the supporting characters in the book often display strong human sentiment. The author describes several important human emotions, but none of these belong to Han Li. The most tear-jerking love story in the book undoubtedly belongs to Qi Yun Xiao and his wife. The most touching kinship is that of the Gong sons who sold their bodies for pills, and the most moving friendship belongs to Nguyen Zhao and her senior sister Niam Lu. The reason Nguyen Zhao is loved by countless fans of A Mortal's Journey is because her bond with Niam Lu truly transcends life and death. Doesn't the proverb say, "A true confidant is hard to find, a soulmate is hard to seek"? In reality, many people go their whole lives without finding a friend who truly understands them, yet they always hope for such a friend. Perhaps some might say that was because Nguyen Zhao's cultivation was low at the time, and she was inexperienced. So what about after she reached the spirit realm? She was still the same, using every possible means to resurrect Niam Lu. Therefore, Nguyen Zhao is the most loyal and righteous character in A Mortal's Journey, and on this point, I accept no arguments. When they first met Han Li, the 2 sisters were on Chaotic Star Island in the Chaotic Star Seas, hoping to act as guides to the senior expert to earn a meager fee. The next time they met, Nguyen Zhao, a mere early core formation cultivator, dared to enter the palace of the void heaven alone, just to get a small piece of soul nourishing would preserve her senior sister's soul. Here, Nguyen Zhao was also taken great advantage of by Han Li. Not only did he casually take the Ti-Hun beast, which would later grow into the Nether King beast, but he also spied on her while she was bathing. Afterward, to save her senior sister, she repeatedly risked her life, finding the heaven-defying Yang Restoration Wood and the Demon Island with the densest Yin energy, ultimately not hesitating to turn her own body into a ghostly form. After Han Li explained the risks of shattering her core, she showed no hesitation. Faced with this situation, even someone as iron-hearted as Han Li was moved. It must be known that Han Li and the animation in the novel are quite different, and in this plotline, Han Li rarely took the initiative to stand guard for them. In fact, that time Han Li was truly dragged into a desperate situation, first falling into Tianren's 8 Gates Golden Light Mirror, then being struck by a ghost and sucked into land the Netherworld. Cultivators cherish their lives more than mortals. This is common knowledge. Han Li always adhered to the truth that life is paramount, but for Nguyen Zhao, she considered her cherished friendship more important than her own life. Therefore, in Wang Yu's chaotic and emotionless world of cultivation, cultivators like Nguyen Zhao, Xiru, or the Gong sons are extremely rare. They use the love in their hearts to interpret the 4 words. Affection and righteousness are priceless. Nguyen Zhao's fate in the spirit realm was much better than in the mortal realm. After she escaped from the clutches of the ghost matriarch, she met Tan Nguyen Tu, a Mahayana stage master. From Tan Nguyen Tu, she received the best nurturing. Thus, In Nguyen Jiao's heart, Tan Nguyen too is also irreplaceable. In truth, the relationship between Nguyen Jiao and Han Li cannot be fundamentally described as romantic. Han Li always regarded Nguyen Jiao as his most respected friend. In summary, Nguyen Jiao is absolutely a very successfully portrayed character in a mortal's journey to immortality. Perhaps the author also wanted to use his character to help us understand what true friendship is. Finally, I wish all you brothers out there will also meet a sincere friend like Nguyen Jiao one day. Okay, that's all the content for this video. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like and comment to give me more motivation to create new videos. Goodbye, everyone.